Hey guys, Mr. Marcus here, and in today's video we are going to talk about Master League in PES 2015. I know the game isn't released for absolutely ages, of course it doesn't come out until November 13th, but I just want your feedback on my ideas. So, from the comments on the last video about PES, about the series for PES 2015, majority of the comments were do a Master League, to become a legend, do my club. My club, of course, is 100% going to happen. Master League, of course, is a bit more difficult because I get to pick there's always a team you have to pick, and of course there's 5-6 options basically, and this video is basically what it's going to be. So the majority of the comments actually did say do it with a lower ranked team, make them into a European powerhouse, for example, taking someone like QPR and make them into Europa League contenders or Champions League contenders, and then like potentially winning it. And I think that's quite a cool idea, and I personally think it's a good idea because then it means I'll have only one Master League to focus on, and then when I actually finish it and maybe win, for example, win the Champions League with QPR, I can then just move on, because of course you can now move on in the Master League. So I'm not going to play with QPR though. I am against playing with QPR only because their team is so ridiculously old, and of course with the new managers in the game, I'm not sure if I'll use myself as a manager, so I'll use my own Marcus as a manager, or if I'll use actually like try and recreate Harry Redknapp if he's not already in the game, or stuff like that, because it'll be weird playing as Harry Redknapp then moving abroad to like A.F.C or something like that. So with that in mind, I created 5 thumbnails for this video, which could potentially be the thumbnails for the final series. So I'm not really sure yet. I just sort of made them last night. I just basically want you to watch the video, pick out the best idea from the 5 thumbnails, but there's basically 6 ideas, and then either commenting with the team or voting on a straw poll in there's a link in the description. So first off, I have the idea of playing as Burnley. Basically Burnley are a clean slate. I can mold them basically around any players, to be fair, but they don't have that much money to use. They have a limited budget, so that'll be interesting if I could actually build quite a good team around a young player, a player for the youth team or something, which would then sort of add more spice. For example, if they left, it would be like, oh my god, he's leaving me after 10 years being at Burnley. So yeah, with that, Burnley are the first choice. Moving on to Crystal Palace, who again more or less have a very similar team to Burnley. They survived relegation last year, and I could take charge of the team and push them into a higher slot in the table. So with this series in particular, I'm not sure if I'll try and go all the way to Champions League, or if I'll just try and get maybe Europa League football and then actually win the Europa League, and then I can move on from there, or I could actually just be like start all over again on a different team, because technically I did get the European success. So with that, Crystal Palace are second choice. To be honest, Crystal Palace, I'm not really that fussed about playing as them, because they have quite a good team, they can play some good football, and well, of course, the game isn't out yet, so I can't really predict what their ratings will be. But from last year's game, they had some players who were quite good. Of course, they got Wilfried Zaha back, so that's on a loan deal, but still, it's an absolutely great thing for them. So moving on, we go on to Hull City with, of course, new loan signing Hatem Ben Arfa on the thumbnail, which I actually personally made myself, and it's the third option. And with them being FA Cup finalists last season, I could actually push them on, make them maybe win a cup with them, win a couple of cups, and then eventually get them to Europa League, and then maybe win the Europa League with them. Or because of course they'll be in the Europa League the first time. Depending on how easy the game is, I'll actually have to think about where I go, because they're in the Europa League at the current moment because of being FA Cup finalists. So with that, if I won a Europa League in the first season, that would be the end of the series, and then I would have to think, what the hell? What are I doing from that point onwards? So Hull really aren't as my favourite choice, but of course they're a better choice than Burnley, and they're probably just behind Crystal Palace in my top 5 of choices. And then we go into Leicester City, which is my 4th choice. So well, of course, a newly promoted side again, but they've looked very impressive in the opening games of the season, and it would be interesting to do due to the fact that their team is not young, but it's young enough, and it has at least enough talent for me to actually just keep going for a couple of seasons, building on some of the players. For example, Kasper Schmeichel's not that old, so I can actually keep him in goal for a good 4 or 5 years before he eventually starts to decline and become a dreadful goalkeeper, as they usually do in PES in general. So Leicester are more or less my second choice, and my final and favourite choice, personally for me, is the players as Southampton, because Southampton's team, of course, they finished in the top 10 last season, and then Liverpool went out and bought 4 of their players, and it just all went to hell, and they lost a lot of players, and Schneiderlin wanted to leave and go to Tottenham or Arsenal, and they lost Osvaldo already left because he didn't want to stay anyway, and that sort of stuff. Majority of players left were taken by bigger clubs, and I could actually start there, push forward, try and get within a couple of seasons. To be honest, if they'd kept everyone like Ricky Lambert, Adam Lallana, they could have been pushing for a Champions League place probably this season. But with the fact they have to come back a little bit and retreat and rebuild again, it's interesting that I could actually do it within 2 or 3 seasons, go for a Europa League place or even a Champions League place, and actually go maybe not win it, but I mean, it's very unlikely I'd go and win it, but for all I know, I could win it. I don't know. So Southampton are basically my final and favourite choice, personally for me, and I think that'd be absolutely awesome to do a Southampton Master Leagues. But there's always the 5th choice, which is basically either picking another club. So another club could be anything ranging from one of the top 4, so Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, or Man United. I could pick Tottenham. I mean, I'd be a bit against playing as Tottenham because I'm an Arsenal fan, but I could play with Tottenham. That'd be interesting to do. Maybe try and get a Champions League spot, considering they've not had one for absolutely ages. And the last time they actually got into the top 4, Chelsea basically took their Champions League spot because they won the Champions League. So something like Tottenham would be interesting, but I think they're a bit too high profile to do it with. So maybe someone like Newcastle, Swansea, like West Ham, maybe. But apart from them, like, that's more or less it. Like, I'm going to do the exact same sort of thing, try and get European success. And then, of course, the last thing I could actually do, which would take absolutely ages, but would be a very, very long-running series, is to start a Master League in the lower leagues with a default side. So the default players like Minanda and whatnot. And, of course, it'd make the series, well, slightly more unique. But, of course, what's his name? Pro Spartan Gamer will most likely be doing something like that with his Spartan side. And, again, I don't really want to be, like, jumping on his parade because I think he really enjoys doing that sort of stuff. Me, personally, I like starting with a team which is not too good, but is already good enough for me to actually just play the game and have fun with it. So, again, it's all the options. All those options are going to be in the straw poll anyway. There's a link in the description again if you don't remember, if you've forgotten. And even if you don't want to vote on the straw poll, just comment below with what you personally want. And then that's really about it. So if you like the ideas in this video, comment below or vote on the straw poll like I just said. And also add your view on the name. Road to European Success. Does that sound like something you'd, like, if you were looking at a thumbnail for the first time, you think, oh, Master League, Road to European Success. Oh, that sounds interesting. Wonder what that is. And then, of course, if you don't like it, could you potentially tell me what I could change it to? I mean, what would you call it? A road to trying to get into Europe, really. Like, it's a Road to European Glory, but Road to European Glory is more related to my Celtic Champions League stuff. So, yeah. So if you have enjoyed this video, subscribe my channel for more, and catch you later.